Hello, today we're going to be going over how to replace a thumb wheel and a screen on a 3NTR, A2 or A4. Today we're going to be doing it on this A2, but the process is basically identical on an A4. You're just going to be dealing with a couple less screws in a few spots and a much smaller printer. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is remove both the left, right, and top side panels. You can see I've already got the top panel removed, and I've already got the left and right panels unscrewed, so I'm just going to go ahead and pop those off. Now with those panels removed, you'll see on the left side it is exposed a screw here, and on the right side a screw here. Those are going to be hidden without those panels off, and then we've got 5 screws on top. So with your 2.5mm screwdriver or with a drill and a 2.5 bit, we can go ahead and remove all these screws to get access to the back of the panel. If you are using a drill like this, just make sure you have your torque setting fairly low so you're not stripping out the bolts if they get stuck. And with those last 2 screws out, you'll see our front panel will just be able to pop up and slot down just like that. So I'm going to move it up a bit, and it fits nicely right there. Should hang by itself. Then we'll go ahead and start removing some other components. So looking at the back side of our panel here, you can see we've got our emergency stop switch, we've got our screen, and we've got our thumb wheel. You can see this one's already been worked on before, so one of the screws is actually missing. You should have 4 in this case. To remove the thumb wheel, you just take the 4 screws out right there. Then what we're going to want to do is follow the cable for the thumb wheel to the right side of the printer, alongside down here, and I'll put an image up on screen of where this plugs into because it's a little hard to show on camera. What we're going to want to do is unplug it just like that. You'll see what that connector looks like. Once we've got it unplugged, we can just pull it, slide it out, and now our thumb wheel is free. With the cable free, now we're going to take out those 4 bolts. In my case, I only have 3 because 1 is missing, but once all of them are released, we can just pop out, and there comes the whole assembly. Then we'll do the exact same process in reverse to install the new thumb wheel. Making sure our cables are facing upwards, we'll stick it in there, hold it in, get 1 screw going in. I'm going to make sure not to over torque these since we are screwing into acrylic. Really can just get them loosely hand tight. Don't even need to torque them down at all. Then what we're going to want to do is route the cable back to the motherboard. So I'll come around this side again, tuck in our cable through, move it on up there, and get it plugged back in. The screen is an almost identical process, but instead of using a 2.5mm hex key, we're going to use a pair of pliers, and we're going to remove the 4 hex nuts from the corners here. We can just lift our screen up and out, follow the cable on the right side just like we did with the thumb wheel, and then go ahead and drop the new screen in. I'm just putting the same screen back in here because this one's working fine. And we'll go ahead and screw everything back on. With the screen and or thumb wheel now reattached, we can reinstall the faceplate. If you are going to be using an impact driver like one of these, make sure you have your torque settings set very low, otherwise you can strip out these screws. In this case, I'm just going to use a screwdriver to get them started, then go back with the torque and do the rest of them faster. Doing this first center one is usually easiest, holds everything else in place. You want to make sure you're not torquing it down completely, so we can make sure everything else gets lined up nice and easy. So you can see there that screw didn't want to go in all the way, so we're going to loosen our other ones so that the whole faceplate can move up and down and get this to a better position. Looks like I might just need a screwdriver. If the screw's fighting you, don't over torque it. But it should go in with relative ease. There we go. I'll make sure we're not cross-threading anything. There we go, faceplate is reinstalled. Now, a quick troubleshooting step here before we put everything back together. Make sure you turn your machine on before you put your side panels back on, because your screen might look like this when you turn back on. And different screens have different brightness levels that need to be adjusted. We'll throw up a picture of what the brightness adjuster on the motherboard looks like. We're going to take a small flathead screwdriver, or a very small Phillips screwdriver, to that screw, and we're going to turn it and watch our screen change. I'm turning it right now counterclockwise. You can see it start to appear, and there we go. We can now properly read our screen. Now that we have verified that our screen and thumb wheel are working, our last step is going to be put our side panels back on. Screw those back in, and then we're done.